Welcome to another edition of the Harmon Solar Podcast. I'm Ralph Romano, VP of Sales and Marketing at Harmon Solar, and with me is my co-host, Ben Walschlager. You also know him as Mr. Everything. Ben?
It's good to be back.
Is it good to be back?
It is really good to be back. Belly's full.
Your belly's full. What'd you eat today?
Chalupas.
Chalupas.
Yeah.
Not Taco Bell chalupas.
No, homemade.
Homemade chalupas. You know how many I had? 0. Because you ate them all.
Well, that's what I do.
Yeah. Right.
So if you want me on your podcast,
Yeah.
you got to feed me.
You got to feed them. So today we've gone through the process.
Yep.
So now we get to start with some other things. So today we are going to talk about what's called the dealer network.
What is a dealer network?
Well, that's what you're going to find out. That's why
Okay.
we're doing this,
Okay.
right? So,
idea.
And with this dealer network, and we'll get into what it is and how it works and how it differs a little bit from the traditional stuff that we have and most of the industry has.
Mm-hmm.
We brought in a guy.
We always had a guy.
No, we had a gal before.
Yeah, okay.
We've had a gal or two.
Yeah, couple.
We just seem to have more guys for some reason. I don't know. But today we got a guy who's been with Harmon for a while, and he kind of oversees our dealer network among a couple other things, but he's the guy that kind of helps us manage it and make sure it goes smooth.
Should we bring him on?
Yeah, we should.
All right.
So we're gonna bring on Tom Kopp, and there's our guy. Hey, Tom.
Hey,
Hey.
Tom.
Hey.
I'm
And
the
that's our show.
I'm the guy. Thank you.
I'm the guy. So, Tom, how long have you been at Harmon?
7-8 years.
7-8 years. So here we go with that. 7-8 years, 6 years, 5. We're just
So if you ever want a job at Harmon, you have to have already worked here for about 7 or 8 years.
because we don't hire anybody.
No, anyone new.
Right. It's all old people.
Yep.
So tell us about your background. What did you do before Harmon?
Before Harmon was in California, lived there for a while, owned some automotive repair centers.
That's right. You did.
Yeah.
I guess they were there. What were they?
Yeah, Midas.
Midas. That's right.
Okay.
He was the Midas guy.
Yeah.
So that's
You know the guy in the
Midas
logo?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Touch everything turns to gold.
Tom Midas.
Was there for a while, decided to come to Arizona, get out of California for another podcast. And then
Yeah, right.
got started with Solar City and enjoyed the company. And then, they went to Tesla, I went somewhere else, and then fell into Harmon.
That's right. So you started with Solar City. So that's when they were huge.
Yeah.
They were the king of the industry back then.
Yeah, that's when, you either sold in lease or you didn't sell anything. There wasn't really anything else back then.
There was just leases. Huh?
Yeah, they shied away from doing anything purchase-wise. And then there was no such thing as EPC, dealer, or anything like that. It was just you're an installer.
Yeah.
Because they did it all, right?
Yeah.
That was back in the industry when like everyone was separated by like you are a leasing company or you are a purchase only company. Like no one ever did both. It was always one or the other.
But there
Yeah,
was barely
exactly.
any purchase companies.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was nobody. And then back then it's like you were integrated, right? There was never that network of guys that wanted to get into the business but didn't want to have to worry about all the back end stuff. They were just really good at selling, right?
Yeah, I would say the industry was a lot cleaner back then.
Yeah, much cleaner. There wasn't 600 companies selling solar. There was a handful.
And solar was like $8 a watt.
Yeah.
Because there was a ton of incentives from the utilities. Remember, there was like huge dollar incentives.
Yeah. Yeah. SRP had incentive. Everybody had incentives because everybody wanted to go solar. And then, everybody and their mom decided to come to Arizona and try to sell solar.
Right. Well, and here we are.
Here we
Yeah,
are.
exactly.
You're one of them.
Yeah.
Tell us about what you do now, what your role is right now.
At Harmon, basically oversee the sales network across the markets that we have. So I help manage anybody that wants to get into solar but doesn't want to have to deal with the back end stuff. So once the sale is over, they don't want to deal with it anymore. So that's where I manage it. I find the guys that want to come in, they want to sell, and that's all they want to do, and then they want to have a fantastic back end, and that's when Harmon comes in. And so these guys will just come to us and say, hey, I've got sales, and we work with them that way, or I work with them that way.
So right now you're managing those groups in Arizona and Oklahoma.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And wherever else we decide to expand to
Exactly.
someday.
I think that's a meeting in a few weeks, right? Yeah.
Teaser.
Someday.
Okay. So you started kind of going into what a dealer is. So we're going to kind of try to break it up first and explain a full service EPC versus basically a dealer and what they are. So for a full service EPC, I mean, we could talk about what we are.
Yeah.
That's what we are.
That's what we do.
I'll let you talk about that.
Well, we are kind of a from start to finish type company. So we do the marketing, we do the sales. Once the sale is done, we do the project management, we get it installed in your roof, and then the full, service. And we're a start to finish type of company.
Right. And we're a dying breed.
Yeah.
Which is really weird, right? I mean, what we do is
Disclaimer: Harmon isn't today.
no, but I mean
Yeah,
that
that
model
channel,
that model's a dying breed because most of these installers now don't have sales teams.
Right.
They just work with companies. And that's what we talk about, a dealer network. So we looked at doing this, I don't know, I want to say 2017, maybe 16. We started batting around this idea. And there was maybe a couple companies that were doing it back then. It wasn't a big deal, but now it is the biggest. That's what most of the companies are nowadays. So here's what I mean by that. When someone comes to your house and they're trying to sell you solar, I would say 8 out of 10 times, they don't actually do the installs. They're just selling you the product. And they work with a company that does the install. So they're a sales and marketing company, correct?
Correct. Yeah,
Right.
their goal is to make the sale and move on to the next sale. They don't want to deal with anything after the sale's been complete.
So they're in and out. They're, hey, I want to sell you solar. This is what I can do for you. Boom, you sign on the dotted line. They're out.
Correct.
Mostly.
Yeah, mostly. You know, I mean, a lot of them will still do their best to keep in contact with the customer, still do their best to make sure the customer's taken care of. But a lot of them, like you said, excluding who we deal with in Harmon's partners, most of them just move on. You've seen it. You get a lot of companies that come outside of Arizona that come in and they do blitzes where they bring a bunch of guys in for a few weeks, throw them out on the streets and take off. And the problem then is now you're dealing with a company that's not even local to Arizona. So if there's an issue, good luck getting someone to pick up the phone.
My gosh, that is so important.
Cash grab companies, we call it.
Yeah. And
Here we go.
And we got into this because we wanted to expand our reach. I mean, we have our internal sales team, but we knew this was growing and we said, let's see if we can be a part of this. There's a lot of issues with this industry, right? So and again, there's good and bad in everything, right?
In every industry.
I'm not blanketing dealer network, but I'm just talking about the dealer network. There are people that, all you have to do is go get an LLC, go to the commission, get an LLC for $59, and you're a company.
Yeah.
And you can start selling solar. And you just have to partner with an installer that will take you on and be that partner for you. We're very picky about who we partner with.
Sure.
So, which has always been the knock on us, is we're different. We don't do things as willy-nilly as some other people. We've talked about in our whole process how we do things different, right? Well, a lot of people don't like that because it can tend to take a little bit more time sometimes.
When you do stuff with a local company, then you have the ability of feeling comfortable regardless who's knocking on the door, right? Imagine buying your Toyota Camry from a guy local and realizing you got to go to California to get it serviced.
Yeah.
There's no one else to service it, just someone in California.
Right.
But you don't know that until it's too late, right? So as a homeowner, the biggest thing someone should ask is, what's your address? Are you local? Who are you working with? Who's your partner? Because, a lot of these guys go out and talk about being a broker, like an insurance broker. They're a solar broker. We all know that's not true. They're just basically trying to have the best opportunity for that customer to have the biggest opportunity for their biggest savings, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I would say this, right? So that's a really good example. I love the whole, get your car serviced in California. That's true. We're a local throat to choke, I guess. We're a local company. We talked about that with one of our partners, having that local company that we work with. But we're here. We have a physical location. A lot of these companies, these sales and marketing companies, don't have physical locations.
Right.
They're just guys that are working out of their house and they get a bunch of their buddies together and they go out and sell solar and they partner with somebody. So that's important to understand. So in our world, in our other world, we are the company that's at this location that does it all itself. And now we partner with some of these guys because we found some of the more reputable ones and said, hey, let's be a partner with you. Let's help you grow your business, but let's do it the right way.
Yeah.
Right. So you can go out and market and sell it. And we actually control it because what we do different than a lot of people. So a lot of people, they have these businesses and they'll just go ahead and they'll build you your systems, however they want to build them, and they'll sell it to you.
Oh, yeah. Don't get me started.
Right. We don't allow that.
Yeah.
No, not at all. We have a
how do we
professional-
do that?
Well, not Dan, Daniel, excuse me. It was Dan. We have a gentleman, Daniel, that does all of it. So everything is basically the same. So if it's a mistake, we have one person to go to. But most of the time, 98% of the time, the designs are correct. Whereas if you allow another company or another sales team to do it, they don't take setbacks into consideration, obstructions. They don't take anything into consideration except the money going into their pockets.
Yeah.
So all they want to do is build the biggest system, make the sale, wait a few days when the cancellation period is over, then go back and say, by the way, this system's not going to fit on your roof, right? In the meantime, now the customer's upset, frustrated, and now doesn't believe the person because it's a bill of goods, right? They're basically being sold, something that doesn't actually work or doesn't fit their home, and they originally purchased that. So with Daniel doing everything, we know that everything fits. And if there is a problem, we go back to Daniel. If a dealer has an issue or a sales partner has an issue, he has someone to talk to. But again, like you said, we're a local company. We don't have that issue in regards to if a customer has a problem, they can technically call Harmon, because once it's sold, they're our property anyway. They're a part of Harmon's family. We don't cut out the sales team or the sales partner. We just do our job in making sure everything's taken care of correctly.
Great points. And to give it even further, so the contract that you sign is with Harmon.
It's a Harmon contract.
So you're a customer.
Correct.
Now with the other companies, you're signing the contract of whoever that installer is. And if that sales company sells you, they can just walk away and they're done. With us, maybe the sales company that we're working with, you signed with us, you're now our customer. We're going to take care of you just like we sold you.
Yep.
That's how we do it, where other installers may not do that. They may say, well, that guy's the one that sold it to you, so it's his problem. You go talk to him. Even though you're in a legal bound contract with that installer, they might take a little bit of different approach to it. They don't care. Where we're going to sit there and say, no, you're our customer. Yeah, he did sell you. I wasn't at the kitchen table with him, so we're gonna lean on him if he said something that wasn't 100% accurate, and we're gonna hold them accountable. We do that all day long, but we try to get them to kind of speak the way we speak and sell the way we sell. Now, is that 100% always going to happen? It doesn't, not 100%. But I would say we have a lot of good dealers.
Yeah, I mean,
and we get rid of dealers that we find out aren't good.
100%.
Oh, sorry. In the past, I helped out Daniel with doing those proposals for those other dealers. And, there would be times where a dealer said, hey, I want this for the system size or this for the price. And I would always, fire back like, no, that's probably not in the best interest of the customer. This is probably a better idea. And I'm saying that because I know later on down the road, they're going to be Harmon's customer with Harmon's install. And I don't want that phone call in the future later on, because you know why? That phone call comes to me. It's like, I don't want to have to talk to this person later on because it was, designed incorrectly. So, let me educate you a little bit on what, should be done, what's best for the customer and yourself.
Yeah. And people need to understand, Harmon, if you're as a sales team or a sales organization, you want to come work with someone, it's Harmon. If you're looking for a quick buck, don't come here.
Yeah.
Right. If you're looking to sell a customer something that doesn't benefit them, isn't going to do what it's supposed to do, don't come here. Like you had said earlier, we have a certain amount of slots of dealers sales teams and partners that we allow to work at the same time. And the reason simple is we don't want to get overloaded and inundated with work that we can't do our job correctly every single time.
Right.
Obviously, there's other solar installers, EPCs here in Arizona, but they take everybody and their mom. And when they're 50, 60, 100 deals deep and they can't keep up and it takes 4 to 6 months to get something installed, so many things can go wrong and so many issues can happen. And the only person that pays for it is the homeowner. I think that's the part that Harmon looks at. And to be honest, to a frustrating point, as me being a former sales rep, Harmon looks at it like this is a homeowner's issue. This is a homeowner's project. This is a homeowner's money. We don't care what the sales rep thinks. We need to do what's right by the homeowner.
Yeah.
What percentage do you think you've turned away dealers? Like, I'm sure you have a lot of dealers that come in and go, hey, I want to sell for you guys.
Honestly,
how often do you turn them away?
On a daily basis. I mean, I turned away 2 this week just because they didn't seem like they fit, right?
Fit.
Even over a conversation. I mean, we have that number that we keep, and we try new guys, and me and Ralph just went through it 2 weeks ago, and we cut a guy loose that didn't do a horrible job, but he just wasn't servicing the customers the correct way, and it just doesn't work.
So if you are a dealer and you're listening to this, and you want to have Harmon do your installs, you got to be ethical.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one dealer that was coming in that wanted to do things a certain way with the Hispanic market.
Yep.
And we were like, well, you can't do that. That's actually illegal.
Yeah.
It has to be done this way, the way you pitch it and stuff. And we were like, we won't be participating in that at all if you're going to do it that way. And you cut him last week.
Yep. And the amazing part is these dealers, these sales teams, sales partners, dealers, 1099 contractors don't realize the power they have, and they're held captive by so many other companies because of the fact that they're afraid to leave and go to a company like Harmon that's going to do things correctly. Again, like Ralph said, we might not be the fastest, but it will get done the first time, and it will get done right the first time. I mean, how many houses do we see that have solar on their roof that is just sitting there and it's still not connected or still not working,
That's a great point. There's a lot of companies, and there's one in particular that I can think of, we'll talk about in a second, that can put a paperweight on your roof.
Yeah.
And it's just a paperweight.
Sure.
Because it's not going to get turned on.
No.
You had mentioned we had talked to a guy that came over to us where he was working with a company that was installing stuff in 7 days.
Yeah. I don't know how that's humanly
which
possible.
legally is impossible.
Yeah.
But he was doing it. Because then the reason that he did that, he wanted to attract dealers so he can get them paid right away.
Right.
Yeah, you can't cancel it if it's on your roof, right?
Right. And that's exactly it, right? If it's on your roof, how are you going to cancel it? True. So he would get it done up there in 7-8 days and then pay the guys, and then it would sit God knows how long. But dealers love the guy because they got money in their pocket in a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then one dealer complains that he got charged back because that homeowner called the lender. The lender canceled the loan and forced them to take it off because they did it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Right. Unfortunately, with as big as this market is, there's a lot of gray area when it comes to solar. And I love Harmon because it's black or white. Like Ben was saying when he helped Daniel, either it works for the customer or it doesn't work for the customer. We never, ever mention, does it work for the sales rep? Does it work for the owners? Does it work for, does it work for the homeowner or doesn't it work for the homeowner?
Right.
That's the extent of it.
And I would say if you ever have a dealer knock on your door, a company knock on your door and says that they partner with us, that should make you feel a little better because we vetted them.
Yeah.
Tom's talking to them. He's trying to understand their business. We're kind of watching them as they first start. And if they're not doing it right, he's cutting them. We're getting rid of them pretty quick.
Yeah.
So we're going to make sure that we partner with the best company. So that's kind of important. Okay. So I just want to make sure people really understand what a dealer is, right?
Yeah.
So if Ben goes out and goes to the Corporation Commission and he pays his $59 or whatever it is, and he gets an LLC called Ben Solar.
Ooh, I like the name of that.
You should run right away when he comes on your door.
What?
But Ben
Unless
Solar,
you got good food.
Yeah.
then Ben can come to Tom and say, hey, I want to sell solar and give my jobs to you. Tom will vet him out and say, okay, we'll take your business on. We'll start you at a certain level, blah, blah, blah. And then Ben will go out and start selling as Ben Solar with an install partner of Harmon Solar.
Yeah.
And so then you understand he's your sales and marketing company. He's knocking doors. He's doing whatever it takes to get business. He's signing you on our paperwork and doing, our design and our thing.
Mm-hmm.
We won't let Ben go sell solar and design his own thing and do what he wants. We kind of put a little bit of control around Ben.
Yeah.
And some people don't like, I'm assuming you talk to everybody that some people don't like it. Some people love it.
Yeah, most people at first don't like it. We have a few that'll actually go a different direction because they don't like it, but they want access to everything. And the problem is, if we give them access to everything, then they have more opportunities to screw over a homeowner, right?
Yep.
We don't want them having access to financial information. We don't have them access to social security numbers. We don't have them access to anything. We just want them to be able to go in. If they go to and get a license and want to be Ben Solar, then and you're a sales rep and act like a salesman, which all he needs you to do is go in the house, do your job, sell it. Daniel on the back end will take care of credit, take care of designs, take care of documents, take care of everything. And then once that's done and sold, then we have someone else that takes care of getting you paid. I mean, it's what easier life can you have when you have so much more going on underwater than you can just focus on looking pretty and selling.
I would agree. We make it very, very easy for sales companies.
Yeah. You just go out and sell it.
We do everything.
We'll do everything.
You sell it.
Yeah.
And the only disconnect I ever see there is the guy that doesn't want to sell at a reasonable rate.
100%. I mean, we make it to where all you got to do is show up at 6 p.m. and your dinner's on the table. I just need you to eat it and leave.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and correct. I mean, there's unfortunately sales teams out there that, again, homeowners not anywhere in the thought process of doing what's right. So, yeah, I mean, we've let people go because they sell too high.
Yeah.
We've let people go because, customers are complaining or they're not getting what they want. Harmon always takes care of the customers, always make sure it's right. But the goal with Harmon and the reason of having only a certain amount of spots is the fact that we can focus on who's doing it right and help them be better at what they're doing.
Yeah, I do remember a guy that we had on for a little bit. I'm not sure if he's still around, but he came from California and he was, and say, I want to sell it at this price. And I'm like, oh, that's really, really high. And he goes, well, that's what I used to sell in California. I'm like, well, what worked in California is not going to work in Arizona. So, I'm sure it showed great savings in California, but here it's a negative savings. So no, we're not going to let you do that.
Yeah, you got 40 cents a kilowatt hour in California. Yeah, you can sell a lot more than you can in Arizona.
Yeah, So,
and that's the point usually went into what I was going to talk about is if a guy, you mentioned earlier blitzes. So explain what a blitz is.
Blitz is where you'll get a company, let's say they're based in New Jersey. It's cold this time of year. They'll go rent an Airbnb, let's say in Phoenix, that sleeps 10. They'll send out 20 guys. They'll rotate them, and they basically just blitz a neighborhood. Like in football, right? They send everybody they can at the quarterback. It's the same thing with the blitz. They're going to send as many people into a neighborhood. They don't care what needs to be done. They're going to sell, and then in 30 days, they're gone. So if there's an issue, you got to take your car to New Jersey to get it fixed. Right? It just doesn't.
Well, you're going to try to first beat on the installer that they're working with out here, but there's a good chance that installer is going to say, "Hey, go to New Jersey."
Well, not only that, but what if that installer, you don't know who that installer is? There's a larger install partner here in Arizona, right? That it's all in the sales rep, and for the sales team and the sales rep, all they got to do is not pick up the phone.
Yeah.
There's no address. There's no nothing. You know, there's nothing. There's no recourse with Harmon. You can pick up the phone and talk to the owners,
Yeah.
right? You can talk to you. You can talk to me. You can talk. There's always someone to talk to at Harmon, which again, Harmon might not be doing it 100%, but the 95% of the stuff that we're doing the right way is the important stuff that's being done the right way.
Yeah. So you really need to understand who the installer is.
Yeah. I mean,
Look them up.
yeah.
Understand about them. And maybe even call them and ask them, hey, does this guy work with you? What's the relationship like? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, you can do that. We've had people do that with us.
Yeah. And the thing about the Blitz is that all you have to do is say, where are you guys from? Oh, New Jersey. Where's your offices? We don't have one. We're in New Jersey. Well, that should be an indicator that, you know what?
Red flag.
You know, just because someone sticks a hot dog cart in the corner doesn't mean the hot dogs are good for you, right? It doesn't mean you're going to go eat and have a good hot dog.
Where is this corner?
Yeah, oh, there's a lot of them.
Still kind of hungry.
Drive down Dobbins. There's a lot of them down there.
Arizona is such a hot market for solar that's why you have these blitzes. And
Yeah.
they happen all the time, especially in the summer. If you guys are at home and you notice that in summer, all of a sudden your door's getting knocked on a lot by solar companies, that's what's going on. Your neighborhood's getting hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, if a homeowner, the first question out of their mouth, the two questions should be asked. Do you have an office local? And do you install or do you have an install partner? And I guess the third question would be, is your install partner in Arizona?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's a really good point.
that'll weed out.
Some of them aren't.
No, that'll weed out what, 90% of them?
That's a really good. I didn't even think about that. Some of the installers are actually out of state installers.
Yeah.
That get permission through whatever they do to actually install here, but they're not a local installer.
And then
No.
they have subcontractors doing, the
Yeah.
electrical work or the roofing work or this and that, and we're kind of piece it together. I actually know not a solar company, but a guy who owns like an electric company, and he doesn't do anything solar. He just every now and then he gets these calls like, "Hey, can
We use your license.
Can we use your license and you help install these solar panels?" He's like, "What?"
Yeah, all you have to do is find an electrician that you can use their license, and he doesn't have to do a thing. You can file everything under his name, and you're good to go. You know, it's
That's the world.
it's very scary. So those would be my questions to a homeowner. Would just be,
Yeah.
like I said, it would be, are you selling for yourself or for somebody else? Oh, somebody else. Who's your install partner? Is your install partner local to Arizona? And if they are, can I get the address, please?
Yeah.
Right?
And the name and the address.
Yeah, that'll knock out 90% of the competitors in Arizona.
And see that guy walk away from your door.
Yeah, exactly.
Never mind.
Exactly.
Or he'll lie up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Which they're good at.
But you're, obviously going to research that yourself.
So again, Harmon got into this for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons was we were seeing what was going on, and we're trying to make the industry not as bad as it has been with some of these people that come into the industry for cash grabs, like you said earlier. So we wanted to be a part of this. We wanted to not be part of the cash grab, but well, we wanted to be part of trying to keep it as clean as possible. We said, let's build our own dealer network. Let's get these sales companies to work with us, and we'll kind of put them on constraint a little bit, and we'll try to do it the right way.
Yeah.
And we've been doing that now for, 7-8 years, I want to say. And we've had some really, really good partners that we've been able to really guide the right way. And we've done a lot of good business. And I will say this, if a partner of ours knocks on your door and is pitching you solar, and then you notice that we're the installer, and you're like, well, I'm just going to call Harmon. They're going to pitch me, but I'm going to call Harmon and try to get a better price or do. No, we won't.
Good luck.
We can't do that because we actually value our partners tremendously. And we're not going to, that's a conflict of interest for us. I mean, if they've come and talked to you and you're buying solar from them, we're not going to let you go around them.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be good business. That's not ethical.
We wouldn't do that to you. If you have a home business and you're selling products at your home, if you're, selling Tupperware or Avon, and we go, oh, that's cool, but I'm going to go somewhere else and get, better pricing from them. You wouldn't like that if we did that.
Right.
So
Exactly.
It's a relationship that we keep.
Yeah, and Harmon's one of the few companies that if you do sell Mrs. Smith, and 2 weeks later, Mrs. Smith calls to Harmon saying, hey, I got a family member that wants to buy solar. Harmon's one of the few installers that actually refer you back to your salesman, right? Back to the team or the partner that originally sold it, right? We're not going to keep that in-house and sell it and make more money. We're going to give it back to the guy who caused the phone call.
We didn't create that lead. We didn't create that customer. That sales company did. They deserve to have that back.
Yeah.
100%.
That's not ours.
That's ethical.
Yep. Ethical. ethical, right?
So let's talk about some of the other things. So the differences. So we know that we talked about the differences as far as they're a sales and marketing company. They're their own thing. We're their partners and stuff. But once a job is sold, what differences are there? Are there differences? I mean, for that customer, is he going to...
So if I sell a system for Harmon
versus
another dealer
sells
selling
a
a system. What happens afterwards?
does the customer know a difference?
I don't think a customer would know a difference if the sales partner positions it right and does the right thing by going saying Harmon is my sales partner, my preferred partner. It should be the end of conversations. But hey, now that everything is done, you should be expecting a phone call from Harmon. They're going to set up your site audit. They're going to do the permitting. They're going to do design. They're going to do everything. But make sure you call me if you have any questions. But you're basically now you're part of the Harmon family, right? So they're really, I guess the only thing that would really be different would be instead of the homeowner calling Harmon to talk to their sales rep, they would just be calling our partner to talk to the sales rep.
And some sales companies, they have their own project managers. There's a few of them.
Yeah.
Where they want to manage the project instead of letting Harmon do it. So what Harmon does in that case is we have a project manager that works with their project manager and feeds them all the information that they'll then feed to you as a customer.
Yeah, so I guess the only difference could be who you hear from with every step of the way, right?
Right.
So you're either going to hear back from your sales rep and their project manager, or you hear from our side and our project manager.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to go back on that's really important, you're talking about the difference between the EPC and the sales partner. If Ben Solar goes out and gets LLC wants to do it, Ben can only sell cash deals because he has no way to get financing. To get these financing and work with these finance companies takes years and years and years of experience. And to be honest, you got to have financial stability to do that, right? Yeah. I mean, remember we had that one lender, Credit Human. It took us 8 months to get them.
Yeah.
And we're a pretty financially secure and profitable company. And for them to take 8 months to get that to us, Ben Solar would never get that. He would never get any lending. So these guys that want to jump in and go, hey, let me go sell solar, I don't think they really understand the actual frustrations of trying to do that. Because even as good as Harmon is, we get denied sometimes.
Yeah.
But that was just something I was thinking of because that's the biggest thing, I think. If you want to get a lease, you're not going to do it if it's Ben Solar. If you want to get financing through any one of our lenders, it's not going to be Ben Solar. So you have to partner with the right person.
So if Ben Solar partners with Harmon, now you're going to use our financing.
Except Ben gets Ben gets everything under our roof.
Right, and that's our risk, right? We're allowing Ben Solar to now use our financing connections and partners and our relationships to sell solar.
100%. And again, we go back to who we pick. So if Ben decides to go out and lie and not tell the truth, it's on Harmon's paper, so it comes back to Harmon. So for us, we have to be very particular who we work for. Like you said, they've got to be vetted, and we got to know they're doing the right thing. Because again, it opens up a financial can of worms if we're having issues with someone we allow on.
And has that happened before? Absolutely.
Yes.
And have we gotten rid of those dealers? Yes. Have we taken care of the customer? Absolutely.
Yes, exactly. Every time.
Every time. And sometimes it's painful.
Can we change the name of Ben Solar? I just don't like the initials.
Well, I mean,
I actually kind of didn't think about that, but I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Wow, I kind of like that a lot.
Yeah.
That really describes a lot about you.
What?
Oh, you meant Best Solar,
Best
right?
Solar.
Best Solar. That's what I thought. Yeah.
So we understand the processes they're a little bit different, but they're the same in the end.
Oh, what I was going to mention when we were talking about after the sale, I know from my project management experience, like when we would get a new project, we didn't know who it came from, who sold it. We would just come across our desk and say, Ben, this is your new customer.
Yeah.
I could go back in our system and find out who sold it, what company sold it, things like that. But that's not how it was presented to us. It was, Ben, this is your customer. So you're automatically thinking this is a Harmon customer now.
Yeah.
Treat them like a Harmon customer. Set up the audit and do all the things that you normally do with every other customer. So in that aspect, it is the same whether
that's a good point.
Whether you were a Harmon customer or some other customer. In the end, you're a Harmon customer.
Yeah, because in Ben's eyes, that's who it was, right? Yeah. It doesn't matter who it's coming from. Once Ben got his hands on it and knew it's a Harmon customer, then we treated everybody the same. There was no difference between customer A, customer B.
The biggest difference is we're not at the kitchen table when you're getting sold. So we have no idea. I mean, just to explain the process. So that sales company gives us the information about you, your usage, your address, your name, all that information. Our team takes it in and builds a system that's going to work for your situation, like we've talked about a million times.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? We give that proposal to that dealer. Now, they may take that proposal and put it into their own proposal and use the numbers from our proposal, or they may just give you the proposal we gave them that has their name on it. Mm-hmm. We don't know. We're not sitting there. So we're hoping that they're giving you the accurate information, and then you're buying it based on that. My point being, so let's say it's installed and it's all working, and a year from now you're looking at this going, well, this is not what the guy told me. We've heard that a couple of times.
Yeah.
This is not what the guy told me. I don't see that. our responsibility to you is we have an installation contract with you, the customer. We have to ensure that what we put on your roof is doing what it's designed to do. That's the phone calls you get.
Yeah.
Right. So we have to make sure that we're holding up on our end. Now, if somebody told you something different outside of what the system's supposed to do, like, I don't know, they promised you $10,000. They promised you this. I have no idea what they told you.
Promised you no bill.
Right. They promised you no bill. They told you you're going to get checks cut from your tax, whatever it is. That's not a Harmon thing. We don't represent that. And we actually, in our contract, you'll see there's language there that basically says you sat with this company. We're just installing this for you. So we can't take on that liability because we didn't do it.
Yeah. I always tell people we are like the cooks in the kitchen.
Right.
You're sitting at the table in the restaurant. You're talking to your, waiter or waitress. That waiter or waitress tells us, the cooks in the kitchen, what to make. We don't know what you guys talked about, but we're just getting our information from, your server, and we're making your order. So we developed your system. We installed your system up to our standards, but whatever you guys talked about, we don't know.
Yeah. If you told the waiter you want a medium rare and it came back well done, we didn't know that as the cook unless we heard something from your waiter.
Yeah, your waiter might have told us well done, so we made it well done.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's one of the biggest differences between the sales company or buying direct from Harmon. If it's a Harmon employee on your room or at your kitchen table, that's representing us.
Yeah, we know what they're saying at that point.
We hope we know what they're saying. Yeah. We know what the guy's been here long enough. We know what they're saying. But we're responsible for what comes out of their mouth. Yeah. If it's another company that's at your kitchen table and we're just the installer, I have no responsibility or liability for what that company tells you. And this is the key, right? That we try to work with companies that we can trust at your kitchen table versus all the guys out there that I wouldn't trust at all with anybody that I know, because I know that they're out there trying to put every penny they can in their pocket. Mm-hmm. So I would say, can I give you 100% assurance that anybody that works with Harmon is 100% legit? No, I can't, but I'm going to tell you they're probably going to be better than most. And as soon as they do something wrong, we're going to be all over them, if not dump them.
Right.
Yeah, we want to make sure, going back to the car analogy, you want to make sure if your car's going to work on, it's an authorized Toyota mechanic.
Right. That's a good point.
It doesn't mean that they're going to still do everything the way Toyota wants it done, but we're going to have in the back of our mind the peace of mind knowing that, okay, well, they're doing things the way that Toyota wants it done. Same thing with Harmon. We only bring on the sales partners and the dealers that are doing things the way Harmon wants it done so that we can focus on the customers and the tasks at hand without having to worry about what's going on at the kitchen table, right? Yeah. It just gives us a lot more peace of mind. But again, we make mistakes, and sometimes we allow people to sell with Harmon that don't do their job, but they don't last very long.
I love that analogy. That's like if you buy a Ford and you have it worked on with a Ford dealer all the time. I mean, you know that you're going there. They're Ford certified and trained, and they're working on it. But if you take it to Joe's independent shop that maybe knows how to work on Fords, there's no guarantee. And you can't blame Ford if this guy messes up your car.
100%.
I made the car. It works great. If he touches it and screws it up, that's not my fault.
Yeah, it's like, you know what, I need to replace my fan belt. And Joe's independent goes, well, we can make this one fit, right? And it's not supposed to be meant for that car. Right. Something breaks, and 6 months down the road, your engine blows because it overheats, right? You go back to Joe's independent. It's like, where'd Joe's independent go? Well, not us. We've been here since 1974. Harmon's not going anywhere. We have no plans of going anywhere, whereas 99% of the people that are knocking on your door cannot say the same thing.
That's kind of what these dealer network. It's kind of the dealer network is. The dealer network is the aftermarket repair industry.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what it is.
Very true.
You either go to a dealer or you go to an aftermarket repair. Either way, you're gonna hopefully get the thing done right, but you're gonna have more confidence probably taking it to a dealer. I know I take my car to nothing but a dealer. That's just the way I do it.
We've been doing the same thing recently. We didn't do that before because of the problem of, hey, take our F-150 in. We think we're getting a Ford part or a Ford OEM replacement part. Come to find out, no, they're putting, Auto Boys on brakes on my car, and they squeak the whole time. Well, if I would have went to Ford, that wouldn't have been an issue. So we do the same thing. We take our cars back to a dealership because at least we have someone larger to hold accountable. If John Elway Lexus is there today, and I get my car worked, and John Lexus Elway is gone tomorrow, I can still go to Lexus. Doesn't mean anything.
You go to any Lexus dealer.
Yep, exactly.
And probably the biggest difference is in the car industry, the dealers are more expensive typically. That's why people don't like to go to them. Yeah, that's not necessarily the case in the solar industry. So it actually could be the other way around.
Yeah, 100%.
A dealer could be more expensive than we would be.
Yep.
I would say for the most part they probably are.
Yeah, exactly.
Not always.
No, but you have these EPC partners, dealer partners that you work with that they don't care. It's like, give me a sale. Don't care how you sell it, what you sell it for. I'll pay you. I'll keep my money. Let's move on. And when there's a problem, Joe's Independent doesn't exist anymore.
I would say the Harmon dealers are really good about that. They're not gouging.
No.
The way I've seen with these other dealers that work with other installers, they are gouging people.
Yes.
Badly.
Yes. We're
It's like,
talking,
wow.
25%? 25% more is what I've seen compared to the Harmon sales partners.
I go on Reddit sometimes and I look at people's, how they start threads on there and you see where they dealt with a sales company and they're getting charged X. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money for that system.
It comes down to that leash that we have on them. When Daniel sends the email out with the proposal, it's Daniel who's typing in the numbers for the price.
Right.
Yeah.
And that you're on that email and you're on that email.
Yep.
So like everyone knows that you're not hiding anything. Everyone knows what you want to charge, for the customer and how much you want to make and, things like that. And it's really up to that team of people to decide, yes, this is okay.
And our number one rule is we will not pitch a negative.
You're right.
So if a dealer comes to us with a price and it turns out it's going to put you upside down, we won't allow them to pitch it.
Yeah.
We just don't. That's just a rule we've always had. That a lot of people don't like. So, but we just do that as a point of integrity to say we want to try to save you something day one. Yeah. We know there's a total savings over 20 years. That's how industry is, but we're trying to see if we can save you money day one. It's gotten, it gets tough sometimes, but for the most part, we can do that.
Yeah.
So,
because I don't want those phone calls.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's important that people realize that Dan and Julie have set it up to where we have it to where we're not going to allow one dealer, one sales partner to do anything that's going to affect Harmon's reputation in Arizona, right? They've built it so long and been around for so long that's why we're so strict on who we allow in, right?
Yeah.
It is, unfortunately, it is an exclusive club. It really, really is. If you get in, feel lucky. And if you get kicked out, then you did something wrong.
I could think of just a couple of things, when we're in our meetings and we're talking about customers and problems where the customer wants something installed in a certain place or they want it done a certain way and it's sold by a dealer and they didn't know because, we go and inspect it and do our thing and we're like, we can't do this.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. And the dealer kind of, the customer's like, wow, this is what I want. Well, if you go with a different company,
I'm sure you'll get it.
they'll probably try to do it for you. It's not going to be safe or it may not work, but we're just not going to do it. And that applies to our dealers. I mean, so if you're a dealer with us, if it's not something that can be done, we're not doing it. No. I don't care if the other guy will do it for you no matter what. We won't. We're going to do it the right way. So that's where we're different, like he just said. Mm-hmm. And it is kind of an exclusive club. And that's why there are some people that don't want to join that club.
No, I get a lot of people that you explain the situation and what we do, and they're like, oh, I'll go somewhere else. And it's like, I appreciate their honesty because eventually we're going to tell them to go somewhere else because they're not going to do what they're supposed to be doing.
Right. Yeah. We are not going to sit there and take their liability and risk for their stupidity because they want to make a lot of money and do things the wrong way.
Yeah.
That's just not who we are.
Yeah. Our dealers are not a do it and ask for forgiveness later.
Right.
We're just not going to do that.
I'm a dealer. You sign your contract. I get my commission. I get my money and I'm off to the next guy. Well, guess what? You're our customer for the next 20, 30 years. We don't get to just say, oh, sorry, and go walk away.
Right.
So we have to make sure that you come in as a customer the right way from the beginning because we own you in a sense. So
yeah, 100%.
Where a dealer's like, next.
Yeah, there's so many install partners out there that just don't care that you can literally every week you can be working with something different and have different rules and different regulations and different expectations.
Yep.
We've stayed pretty consistent as long as I've been with Harmon. I remember first starting to sell with Harmon and getting frustrated because some of the things that Harmon wanted to do, and I'm all, just do it. And it was, nope, we don't do it. We don't do it. And and it came back to where if I would have pushed it, then I would have done the wrong thing for the customer, right? And that was my first getting into solar the first time. And working with Solar City, it was like, it's a wild, wild west. Do what you want, whenever you want. You start getting wrangled in and start getting pulled back into the right way to do things. And it hurts at first, but in the long run, I mean, I've got hundreds of customers. I don't have any dissatisfied customers. Mm-hmm. I don't get called. I don't get bothered. I get referrals.
We've had a lot of new guys come in and they'll say, well, that's not how I was taught.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's scary.
But it happens all the time.
And how many did you sell?
That happened to you.
Yeah.
When you came in. Because you were being taught the wrong way.
I came in from another company. And I left that company just because I was like, this doesn't feel right. What they want me to say, what they want me to do, that doesn't make any sense. But I don't see how all these other younger guys are going out and selling it and doing it. It's like, I got to leave. So then I came here. I was like, yeah, I was taught way wrong, way different. This makes more sense now.
Yeah.
The way to do it.
I talked to a possible sales partner a couple days ago. The one gentleman that you saw. We talked yesterday about SRP. He was all, what? So what's this energy management system? What's this? I said, well, let me explain it. He's all, you know what? I really appreciate your honesty because this was never, I was told you do this size offset, Don't worry about it. Buyback's fantastic. And then you start telling them to do research, and these guys actually start taking someone else's word or doing their homework, and they start going, holy crud, you know?
Buyback is fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
That 2.81 cents is fantastic.
Great.
Yeah. Do 140% offset in SRP. You'll get all your money back.
Yeah. And if you don't know, go look and listen to our SRP podcast, and you'll learn everything you want to learn
Every
about
time
that
I
one.
hear those stories, I'm always thinking, how many systems did you sell?
Yeah.
How many customers are out there right
we
now?
had one guy, and I know you know him. He now lives up in the Midwest, but he was taught by somebody that's on the radio constantly about how great they are for solar.
Oh,
I'm not going to say who, but he was selling 100% wrong.
Yeah.
100% wrong. He's like, well, that's how she told me to sell. And I'm like, well, wow, she really messed you up, because what she was telling you is 100% inaccurate. But she made a lot of sales and a lot of money. I'm like, I'm sure she did.
That's that lady from Ben Solar, right?
But
She was a
he
good employee.
quickly realized, oh my gosh, I've been messing people up.
Yeah, I don't know how some of these guys can sleep at night with the way they do stuff. I really, really don't. It's just crazy.
On their gold-plated mattresses.
Yeah, pretty much right.
They're gold-plated mattresses. Okay. So I think we've gone over this pretty well.
Sure.
I mean, the biggest thing you talked about is ask the questions. What questions should they ask again?
Are you the installer? Are you a sales team? Is your installer local in Arizona? And if they are, what's the address?
Bingo.
That's it.
You know?
Yeah.
That's where you start the conversation with somebody that keeps wanting to talk about solar at your door. Have those questions ready and ask those questions. And you know what? Let them give you a quote, and then come to us and let us give you a real quote.
Yeah. I don't think we've been beat on pricing by a legitimate quote ever.
I would agree.
Remember Oklahoma, we were 20 to 25% lower without even making an effort.
Yeah.
And in Arizona, it's the same thing. I mean, as much as Ben probably still gets and I get, and we don't do sales a lot, it's just amazing, right?
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
Yeah. I always tell my customers, get 4 or 5 quotes, which they're always like, what? You want me to get more quotes? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Get 4 or 5 quotes. And we always come in like, wow, you guys are like very competitive.
Yeah, and I've always
By far. I'm like, see?
Yeah, and I always tell customers, get quotes. Even if Harmon's not who you go with, call me and ask me, and I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
And if you choose to go with someone else, that'll be your choice, but at least you'll have every single bullet for that gun to make sure you can shoot down any sort of questions or gray areas that you might have. I just want you, it's your money, doesn't matter who you go with, just make sure you go with the right person.
If it sounds too good to be true, it's probably not.
Yeah. Remember, 3 out of 4 dentists. That 4th dentist was a kook, man. He was always a crazy guy. Didn't know what he was doing, but he was probably the one that was right.
Yeah, we're typically that 4th dentist.
Yep, exactly. Exactly, right?
That's so true. So don't be afraid to get multiple quotes. Unless you're dealing with a dealer that has us as an installer, we're not going to give you a quote.
Yeah.
So just understand that we won't do it. That's the integrity thing with our dealer partners. When we have partners, we create partners. They really are partners. We try to be the best partner possible. So.
Yeah, didn't you have a partner who was with us for a while, went and came back?
Oh yeah, that's happened on multiple partners where they worked with us for a long time and they were happy, and then for whatever reason, the install network is very competitive, so you have all these installers trying to steal people because they want more business, and so they got really aggressive with this guy, and he left, and then he quickly realized that, oh my goodness, everything they told me was a lie. They really didn't give me this price. They're really not doing what they said they were going to do. It's so hard for me to get paid. It's ridiculous. You guys always paid me. You guys were always honest and upfront with me, blah, blah, blah. But they were, they were preaching, we can go faster. Faster is not always better.
Right.
No.
We talk about it all the time. Faster, speed does not equal quality or does not equal better. It just equals a paperweight on your roof.
Yeah, there's speed limits for a reason, so you can do things properly and safely.
Yeah.
Right. There are rules we have to play by. They're not our rules, but we have to play by them. And so we do. Does everyone do that? Absolutely not. And you'll find out.
The one thing that attracted me or I enjoy about the sales partner program with Harmon is that we're not a greedy company by any means. Remember, end of 2023, heading into 2024, we had that panel manufacturer we dealt with.
Yeah.
They gave us a better price. We turned around and gave every one of our dealer partners a better price. What other company is going to actually lower their price ever? Right? I mean,
do that a lot.
Yeah, we've actually lowered our price 2 or 3 times. I mean, our pricing now is based off of an individual, not based off of volume, not based off of how big your company is. I like Harmon because we've treated every single person equally, regardless if you have 1 guy or 50 guys. Everybody starts at the same price, and then you go from there, which is the way it should be, right?
Yeah, it's a great dealer program. If you're a dealer and you're hearing this and you want to learn about it, I would say, give us a call, give us an email. What do you, it's Solar? What's the email?
Just
that you
put
use?
Tom's number on the
Solar, I think it's Harmon,
Partners?
Yes, Solar Partners, I think.
At Harmon.
Yeah, I'll look and give it to you, but yeah.
Okay, we'll flash that on the screen for you so you have that. But yeah, reach out to us. You can also call us 800-281-3189, and you can ask Gio or whoever answers the phone. Hey, I want to talk to Tom about becoming a dealer.
Yeah, extension 150.
Mm-hmm. Extension 150. Social Security number 557.
Yeah.
No, okay. But yeah, reach out to us because our program's really good. And if you're looking for a real partner to be with that's going to help you grow your business the right way, you would want to definitely talk to us. No doubt about it.
And if I'm not mistaken, we might even get better here in the next few weeks.
We have some things coming down
Yeah.
that are going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, might get even better.
Yeah.
We're giving away a free chocolate ice cream cone with every purchase.
So Ben Solar's signing up.
Yeah, we're giving chalupas.
We've seen your background information. We're not interested.
Okay, well,
We know why it's called BS Solar.
I'm still working here.
All right. I think we've hit it.
Yeah,
All right. So
that was our dealer network.
that was our dealer network. So now hopefully you have an understanding of what a dealer network is. And when somebody knocks on your door, you have an understanding of maybe the questions to ask and how to deal with them and kind of see through the fog
Right.
as to who you're really dealing with, because make sure they have an address here, make sure they're a local installer. Those things are so important. We've been here since 75. There's a reason for that. Understand that your installer that you're working with or the company you're working with is from Arizona, not from New Jersey, not from California. Those things are kind of important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just thought about is that everybody that works on a home through Harmon, electricians are certified electricians.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that about other installers.
No.
Can't say that about any other EPCs because I know a few that don't.
Right.
It's just who they can say, hey, do this, do that, and they hope it's done right.
You're in that world and you talk to a lot of those different people, so you've
Yep.
seen a lot of the stuff.
Yep, I talk to a lot of other gentlemen in my position that are very frustrated, but they don't leave because it's a paycheck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of times they're really good paycheck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So just make sure as a homeowner you do your due diligence to make sure that your money is being spent wisely and your investment is being given back to you in a timely manner, not in year 19.
We laugh, but that is
I know.
so true.
We laugh because it's true.
Year 19, if the utility company goes up 180% in year 19, well, don't worry about it. You'll be making money. It's unfortunate.
And the utility companies are always going to go up. We just went through it. APS just got approved for 8.5% increase.
Yes.
So,
Love it.
and that won't be the last one, I guarantee you. That's everybody. That's all the utilities around the country. So, all right, solar's more important than ever, but you got to make sure you hook up with the right partner.
Yep.
And that's the dealer network. So, Tom, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having
Appreciate
me.
your wisdom and your experience.
Even though it's last, the chalupas made up for it. But thanks. I appreciate it.
And what are we talking about next?
Service.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're going to bring in a guy.
So we got you bought your solar system, it's installed, everything's going great, but oh no, something broke. What do I do? Who do I call? What happens? So
Call Ben.
we could call Ben.
You
Ben
know what?
Solar.
Well, and the thing is how many of those service calls are from installers that are no longer around?
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
A lot of our business is from that, too.
Yeah, so
So
service.
we're bringing on our service manager who is going to talk about that department and how they're there for you. And we're one of the few companies that has a service department, a pretty big one, too.
Stay tuned.
So stay tuned. We'll see you next time, and we'll talk to you soon.